What is up, my friends? Good to see you again. Thanks for checking this channel out. I'm going to dive into a song I probably should have done a long time ago. A song off a fantastic album. If you're not familiar with the band, the album, you got to check it out. Collective Soul, the album Collective Soul. The second album they released, some could argue, was probably the first album with all original material, I think back in 95. Because the first one was more of I think a demo, if anything. And I could be wrong, but that's the one that had Shine on it. This was the follow-up to this. And I mean, the first 7 songs on this album out of the box are just, I thought, fantastic. So a lot of great music out of the 90s, and there's more to come. This album, bit of a, not as heavy as some of the other ones. December by Collective Soul, so very unique, very cool, very... Right? So really cool, love it. A lot of different parts here. You can make this as easy as you want or as hard as you want, depending on how much you want to learn. If you want to just strum it, everything's going to be in there, but I'm going to walk you through as best I can some of these picking patterns and some of these little riffs. Not going to be 100% accurate, but I think there's enough there where you can hopefully gain something out of that. If you haven't done so already, like, subscribe, hit the bell, check out the website, sixstringfun.com. A lot going on. So enough of me rambling. Let's get into this one, December by Collective Soul. All right, here we go. December by Collective Soul. Really, for this tune, a lot of it's going to revolve around this G chord. Okay? Where you're going to, again, the way I've played it and how I remember playing it from years ago, it's the full G. So you've got 3, 2, open, open, 3, 3. Okay? And you want to get a pretty good strat sound. You know, I've got the coil split on the Paul Reed Smith, so I just kind of use that. So if I split it with some distortion behind me and I can clean it up with the volume knob, works pretty well, right? But, you know, whatever works for you. But really, the chord, as I mentioned, that G chord is going to be center for a lot of this. At least your fingers planted here. But there's also a bass line. And the bass line is really just a handful of notes. G, and again, off the 6th string. G, 3, 1, which is the F. 3 on the 5, 1 on the 5, and then just adding that second as a turnaround on the 5. So if you listen to the bass line, so that's kind of just, you know, again, you can make this song as easy as you want or as hard as you want, because there's a lot of different elements you can add into this. If you're just playing on the acoustic guitar, I mean, really, you can just strum, and I'll show you how to, you know, with different parts of the song, how just strumming will work too, okay? But what the strumming, or at least the picking pattern is for that riff, so what are we doing there? So let's hold this G chord, right? So the first bass note's going to be on that 6th string, 3rd fret, right? So it's that note, and we're going to go right down to the G string, to the B string. So it's, and then you come back up to the G. And you're gonna, I do it all the time still, and you're gonna do it, you're gonna clip that D string. The cool thing about that is it's not a wrong note, I guess. It'll still sound good, but if you want to do it clean, so it's gonna be, if I'm holding this chord right here, right, we're not gonna touch the 5th string at all. We're not gonna touch the 4th string or even the 3rd, or yeah, the 5th and the 4th. We're not gonna touch, but it's gonna be 3, 2, and 1, and the low E. So it's the low E, and then it's going to be 3, 2, 3. All right. So it's going to, I'm just trying to, the easiest way to kind of walk you through this, but it's going to be your bass note, G string, B string, back to the G string, back to the B string, and then E string, B string, G string. Okay, so if you want to break this down into parts, again, the theory part of it, I'm probably not too strong on, so I don't want to tell you 8th notes, 16th notes. I'm not going to go there, but it's going to be, so if you want to break down the first 4 notes, your low E string, G string, B string, G string. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you just go right back down to the B and come back up on the all three strings. E, B, G. So it's going to just take some time. It's kind of odd. Again, if you clip the D string, it's not the end of the world, but it really isn't part of that. And then all we're going to do now is, and for a good part of the song, we're just going to move the bass note. So I go from using my middle finger on 3 to using my index finger on 1, middle finger on 3 for the 5th string, index finger on 1 and 2 of the 5th string as well. So if I play the whole riff, I'm going to try that one again. So when you get to the index finger on the 5th string here, 1st fret, the pattern's going to change just a little bit. Not that you're doing anything really different. You're just going to be omitting some of the notes now. So it's going to be, I think it's going to be your 1st fret on the 5. So it's the first 4 notes that we played in that rhythm, okay? So it's going to be your bass note, G, B, G. Okay? So let's do it all to that point again. And then you're going to walk down the bass note with 4 notes total. Your bass note 1 on 5, open G. Just walk that down to 2, open G, and then back to that pattern. Right? And that pattern for the most part is what you're hearing throughout most of the song. So that's going to be used for the intro, it's going to be used for the outro, it's going to be used for the verses. When you get into the chorus, what I've done, and I'm pretty sure this is pretty close, instead of arpeggiating it, you're just going to strum. So, right, we've been doing this, so it's going to be. So you want to kind of, I usually give it 2 8s. So it's 1, 2, 1, up, down, up. So same, as far as, the root of all this here, you're still using the same bass notes and the progressions. Instead of arpeggiating it, we're just kind of strumming. Right? So that's kind of we've gone through the intro, we've gone through the verse, and you've got through the chorus here. And then you've got there's a couple of the pieces here, but going between the chorus and the verse, it's a fill. And again, this is where I go back saying you can make this as difficult or as easy as you want, depending on what you want to do. If you want to just strum with the acoustic guitar, I think for the most part, you've got most of the song already done. Because that's basically the bed for a lot of the other things that are happening here. One of the other fills here is. So just kind of, double stops basically as far as single notes for the most, or double notes for the most part. 4 times around, or 4 different patterns, and you go around twice after the first chorus, 4 times after the second chorus, right? So all I'm doing here is I'm barring on the 3rd fret B and E, and then I'm going to add my ring finger, or whatever finger is good for you, the high E string on the 5th fret. Okay? And I think there's an open G that's part of that riff. I can't ever really quite hear. So you can either do it. So I think that open E is kind of thrown in between each little section that we're adding here. And then we're going to go to, I'm going to fret it this way because we're going to have to use our pinky here. So it's going to be ring finger on 2 on the 3rd fret, index finger 1 on the 1st fret, and then we're going to be adding our pinky to the 3rd fret on the 1st string. And then that G string. So and then I'm going to use my index finger. I'm going to roll it up from here. Index finger on 2nd string 1, open E string. And I'm going to be using, I guess, again, whatever finger you want, but it's going to be 3rd fret B string. And then throwing that G string at the very end of the riff. Back to the 3rd fret, but I'm going to be on the B and the G. Oh, it's going to be a... So same thing, G and B on the 3rd fret. And I'm going to add my, again, whatever finger you want, but it's going to be 3rd fret on the 5th string. Or excuse me, let's try that again. 5th fret on the 3rd string, G string. So all together. If I can get it. And I don't think that G string comes in, that open note comes in at the very last riff there. So it's going to be... So that's kind of that riff that you're going to be doing in between the chorus and the verse, right? So we do the chorus, we go right back into the... goes back into the verse, and then, you know, kind of like that pre-chorus, or the chorus, I should say. Right? Keep doing that. We go back to this passage right here. I'm gonna go. I think it's 4 times on that one, I believe. There's no solo, but what it goes into is a bit of a break, the bridge, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be, again, based on that G, then throwing in the F bass, and then throwing in the C. But that's going to be all we're doing with the chords. So it's going to be, and it's going to be, I guess they're 8 counts. You know, 4 and 4 for each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what happens after there? It's going to be just G string, 3rd fret, I believe. Okay? So it's a single note. I believe there's a bend in there. You can make it a bend. You can do what you want. But it's going to sound like this. So you can give it a slight bend, I think. Maybe, maybe not. But it's going to be starting on the G string 3rd fret. And the key is coming off on the open G. And then right back into the riff. Right? And that's kind of... You've got the song there, basically. So I think the outro is going to be more of, you know, to get towards the end of the song, the last chorus, I guess it is. So just listen to it. It's going to just repeat itself. And then at the very end, you end it like you started it. And for the most part, I think it's most of the song right there. I'm not going to say it's 100% accurate, but I think, like I said, you can make it as hard as you want, as easy as you want. If you want to just strum it, you've got all the chords there. You don't even have to pick. You know, but we've got everything. And I would say the key there is be very light with the picking, too, no matter what you've got going on. Even if you don't have the coils, you know, even if it's a heavier sound you got with humbuckers, instead of very lightly, just remember, pick, volume, best friends when you want to try to, you know, work on your tone. As cool as that pedals, sometimes you don't need them at all. Again, I'm just kind of going in through this. to a PB 212 with some gain, and I'm adjusting everything else through here. Okay, so great song. I wish I'd done it sooner, but I'm glad I did it now. So enjoy. Any questions, let me know. There's definitely more Collective Soul coming in the near future. Thanks.